You're listening to RX Report, where you get your health, your news delivered. I'm your king of the pirates, Manuel, coming to you from the home of pharmacy here at the American Pharmacists Association in Washington, D.C. Happy Halloween to everybody watching. We've got a fun show planned for you today, because what's the point of talking about pharmacist awesomeness if we can't really have some fun with it? One piece of advice: don't go anywhere. Instead, click that like and subscribe button, leave a comment to let me know what you think the best costume you see today is, and let's dive in. Spooky season isn't the only thing we're celebrating today. Since we're at the end of Pharmacist Month, let's pull a Ronaldo and pull a victory lap just because we can, and shout out some of Pharmacist's wins over recent memory. But podcasting is thirsty work, so instead of just listening to me, I've got a special co-host joining me in front of the camera today, Daniella Munoz. She's been a big help behind the camera for a hot minute now, and is our social media queen/princess, as you can see, so I could think of no one better to steal my thunder than her. Daniella, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, Mason, about time you had me on. For our first win, let's talk about new practitioners. APhA sent a group of pharmacist fellows and new practitioners to the Hill last week to advocate for the ECAPS bill, PBM reform, and more. ECAPS, or the Ensuring Community Access to Pharmacy Services Act, promises to expand healthcare access for patients by allowing pharmacists to receive payments from Medicare Part B for services on common illnesses like the flu, RSV, and COVID. The TLDR is ECAPS passing would be a big win.
And don't even get me started on how PBM reform would be a big help to pretty much everyone, except PBMs, obviously. The price of drugs are too dang high, as that one dude with the awesome mustache must have almost said that one time. With the government closed, there is little progress being made on that front currently due to the government shutdown, but that doesn't mean that we can't let representatives know it needs to pass this year. Anyway, our fellows alongside our government affairs team spent the day speaking to representatives about what the appeal of these measures would be, and they had a productive day to say the least. And earlier this week, Michael Baxter, APHA's VP of Government Affairs, joined a panel conference at the Academy of Managed Care Pharmacy to advocate for ethical and transparent PBM reform. We'll talk more about these stories on next week's show, but for now, just know that it was awesome.
Speaking of awesome, we got some pharmacist wins to shout out. First off, at The Ohio State University's College of Pharmacy, Dr. Deanna Kroetz, who holds both a PharmD and PhD in pharmacology, has been elected to the 2025 class of the National Academy of Medicine, or NAM, which is one of the most prestigious honors in health sciences. Her research has focused on pharmacogenetics, investigating how genetic markers predict drug toxicity, and how she's been deeply committed to mentoring emerging scientists. This is a huge deal because it highlights the pharmacy's unique role in bridging clinical practice and translational science. Pharmacists are not just dispensing meds, they're helping shape the future of how medicines are developed and used. Congratulations, Dr. Kroetz.
We'll get to our next story in a second, but first, are you a pharmacist resident who likes money? Well then, you might be in luck. APhA, with the support of Merck, is offering multiple grants for continuous quality improvement, or CQI projects focused on immunization delivery. These grants are designed to support your work by providing essential resources, including valuable guidelines, best practices, and innovative ideas to help you successfully develop and complete CQI projects. Here's the kicker. Each awardee will be selected to receive a $5,000 grant. Additionally, grant recipients will be invited to present their outcome findings at APHA's annual meeting in 2027. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Then don't wait. Submit your proposal by November 12th, 2025, and upgrade your practice today.
Next up, we gotta go out of this world with Brian on this week's Pulse on Practice. Brian, take us away.
Thanks, Daniella. Today on Pulse on Policy, we're diving into a critical and timely topic: pharmacists' authority to immunize. Pharmacists' authority to vaccinate isn't universal. It depends on state law, and in many cases, those laws lean heavily on ACIP guidance or FDA approval for most states. When guidance or approvals shift, even slightly, it can create a ripple effect on what pharmacists are allowed to do. While pharmacists in all 50 states can administer vaccines, the scope of this permission varies from state to state. This authority may be limited to an age group or types of vaccines. Imagine preparing for the fall respiratory virus season, but not knowing which vaccines you're legally allowed to give. That's the reality some pharmacists are facing right now. With respiratory illness season upon us, all eyes are on the recent changes to ACIP recommendations regarding COVID-19. On August 27, 2025, the FDA approved the 25-26 season COVID-19 vaccines. The only indications given were for those 65 years and older and individuals 6 months to 64 years with conditions that put individuals at high risk for severe illness. This was a narrowing of all previous years' COVID-19 vaccine. But 5 weeks later, on October 6, 2025, ACIP recommendations for COVID-19 vaccines were approved by the acting CDC director to be available for everyone 6 months and older under shared clinical decision-making, meaning the choice is made collaboratively between the healthcare provider and the patient. Pharmacists are fully qualified to have these conversations, and the CDC recognizes that pharmacists are one of the clinician types who can conduct shared clinical decision-making. The challenge now is that the CDC ACIP recommendation for the updated COVID-19 vaccine is now wider than the FDA-approved indications. This discrepancy is causing confusions for patients who are under 65 years old and do not have high-risk conditions. In response to this confusion, various states have updated standing orders and statewide protocols that allow for pharmacists to administer vaccines based on AAP, ACOG, and AAFP immunization recommendations. Some states have also granted independent authority for pharmacists so that they can administer vaccines based on their own professional judgment. All of these actions by states are to ensure that pharmacy personnel can show up for their local community. The good news is the pharmacy profession isn't standing still. APhA and 13 other national pharmacy organizations jointly published guiding principles for state policy on pharmacy personnel-administered vaccines. These principles are intended to help state regulators and legislators modify existing vaccine policy language to assure that patients still have access to vaccines from their pharmacist. This is one of the ways APhA is advocating to keep pharmacists at the center of immunization efforts and ensure access. APhA will continue to monitor federal actions regarding vaccine access, but because pharmacist authority varies so much across state lines, state boards of pharmacy and state pharmacy associations are your best resource for up-to-date guidance and notifications about immunization authority in your state. Thanks for listening, and back to you, Mason.
Thanks, Brian. For our last story, let's talk about oncology pharmacists. Cancer therapies are growing and evolving quickly, and that's great news. In 2025, 37% of FDA novel drug approvals were for cancer care and treatment, accelerating the charge towards kicking cancer to the curb where it belongs, alongside PBMs and pineapple on pizza. However, there are currently just over 4,000 pharmacists board certified in oncology, which is way fewer than we need right now. APhA CEO Michael Hogue recently spoke on this in a recent blog post, which you can check out at pharmacist.com/blogs, where he talked about how, among other things, cancer diagnoses are rising right now, especially among young people. So despite this growth in treatment options, more manpower is needed to deliver it. But that's where you come in. A board-certified oncology pharmacist certification is a great way to level up your pharmacist career and deliver patient care in a field where it is desperately needed. One of the many reasons pharmacists are so cool is because the profession is so varied in the things you can do with it. So imagine how much of a power trip it would be to go to Thanksgiving and tell your dad, who thinks you just work a prescription drive-thru, that you are straight up treating cancer. Don't let pineapple on pizza win. Be a meat lover's pizza and John Cena suplex cancer out of existence. Resources are in the description below if you're curious. And that is our show. If this podcast made you want to dress up while talking pharmacy, then leave us a comment below and let us know what you dressed up as.
And if you like hearing about the achievements of pharmacists this month, then click that like and subscribe button and let us know your favorite story.
Did you just steal a part of my outro? That's my thing. Don't do that. All right.
Do something about it.
All right. Let's call this one a draw. Our executive producer is Rob Hodges.
Our creative producer is Kate Erdmann, and I've been your host, Daniella Munoz, who totally won the host spot.
And I've been your host, Mason Manuel. Tune in next Friday for more RX Report. But till then,
bye y'all.